Okay. Hey guys, welcome to the podcast. This is episode 6, and I really think this is going to be a fun one. We have another special guest. Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Einar Jordan, and I'm a biotech engineer. I work all my life for Big Pharma. I became a carnivore in 2018 after some severe health problems that started all the way back on 2006. They really started when I was about 10,
Mm-hmm.
but they got really. I started suffering from severe chronic pain of the bladder in 2006, and it progressively got worse with other conditions. So ended up with about 20 autoimmune disorders that I can count. In 2018, my blood pressure was way too high, and my triglycerides were so high, and my I was diabetic type 2. So at that time, I found out about the carnivore diet thanks to Michaela and Jordan Peterson. Um, so I've been doing a lot of research my entire life, but then the my mental health and my cognitive abilities were really declining at the time. And after the carnivore diet, my brain started functioning at a 200%. So after that, I was able to connect a lot of dots. I written two books, one called Bulletproof Your Health with Artemisia, and the other one is called Good Shit, which is a guide for microbiome transplants
Mm-hmm.
and alternatives, so you don't have to do it because it can be a very dangerous process if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, I agree. So, when I was talking to you, you seemed to be really knowledgeable on a lot of subjects. So I guess I'll let you start where you want to start, and then where what topic do we want to start on? Because I'm not.
So, I mean, if you want, we can start with your conditions,
Yeah.
and then we can talk about the alternative treatments that can uh, add or help you get over a stalling step on the carnivore diet.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I started the carnivore diet, it helped about, I'll say, more than 50 to 80% of my conditions. So
Mm-hmm.
it put in remission things like fibromyalgia, but it didn't cure it entirely. So if I
Yes.
left it something, I will still be a little off. Uh, but there were things like IBD or Crohn's disease, IBS that were not responding well. The bladder pain improved significantly. In a lot of people go on absolute remission, but for me, it improved about 50%. It helped me with the ability to sleep, but then it triggered a lot of other conditions that they were probably. So it is my belief and the belief of many people that this is caused by multiple infections. A lot of people focus on the candida
Mm-hmm.
only, but there are other organisms that become parasitic when you take antibiotics, which has happened to a lot of people. So a lot of these other modalities that I researched, they help me little by little overcome all my conditions to the point where out of 19, I only have one condition that it still remains and is 50% improved or 80% improved,
Mm-hmm.
depending on how strict I follow the diet, which I no longer need to follow a strict carnivore diet, but I still try to be as close as I can to a carnivore diet or a hunter gatherer type of diet, or you can call it an Amish type of diet.
Mm-hmm.
So I can eat a lot more things now in my diet and not be a social pariah anymore, which is it happens to a lot of carnivores. You can't have many friends.
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult to go out and do anything with friends. So all of these modalities help me, and I don't try to gather a lot of attention to myself, mostly because I still work for Pharma. They pay my bills here and there when I got work, and then not everybody wants to be healthy. Some people just they're stuck on the addiction. I mean, uh, sugar or carbohydrates are 10 times more addictive than heroin. I don't know if you're familiar with the
Yes.
studies on rats that the rats
Yeah.
preferred the rats die from electrocution.
Did you
And
see the ones where the rats who were eating sugar couldn't like find a safe spot in like a pool of water?
yeah, yeah. They had one. They didn't do a video out of it, but they took a group of rats with heroin and a group
Mhm.
of rats with sugar, and the ones with heroin stopped because it was painful to get electrocuted. But the ones with sugar, they die because they couldn't stop. And my family is full of doctors. I got 300 relatives. Half of them are doctors.
Mhm.
They will have their organs removed to continue to eat sugar.
Yeah.
It's a sad thing, but
I
it's
actually saw a study done where they took it was rats. They took rats and they put some in, like what do you call it? An environment where they had no stimulation whatsoever. And they gave them sugary carbohydrate food and then they gave them, their natural diet. And then they did the same thing with rats who had lots of stimulation in their environment. And the rats with no stimulation were the ones who ate all the sugar. And the rats with the stimulation, that would be like, digging and like stuff that a rat out in nature would do, actually didn't eat the sugar.
yeah,
And I think that has a lot to do with people today because if you're sitting in school or at a desk job all day long, you don't have stimulation. You don't,
yeah.
and you're just taking these foods to increase your dopamine.
Well, we known this since the
Mm-hmm.
1930s. I think I may have cited on one of my books, or is a study from the 1930s where they take a group of rats, different groups of rats, and they feed one hunter-gathering diet. They do just
Mm-hmm.
fine. They feed the other one the British diet and the
Yeah.
American diet, and they end up eating each other. There is only one male that all the females are attracted to. They eat their children. It becomes so chaotic in as generations grow that is just messed up. Which you know, uh,
I can't remember what group of animals they did it on, but it was a group of animals. I believe it was dogs or cats. No, it was cats. So this guy had like a bunch of cats, right? He got a couple, and I'm sure I could probably Google this and figure it out relatively quickly. But he had a couple of cats, and maybe like one. He started out with one, and he fed it like a all raw meat diet, and then he got another cat, and he fed it all meat diet. And with cats, they just kind of start to accumulate over time. So eventually he got to the point where he couldn't feed to afford all the cats, proper
yes,
cat diet. So he started feeding them kibble. And he noticed that, the cats kept on reproducing. To a certain generation of cats, the cats were unable to reproduce other cats. And if
hmm
they did, the cats were deformed.
yeah.
And nothing
I
changed except the diet.
At 48, I was told I couldn't have children.
Uh-huh.
I have three
Mm-hmm.
since then. I went on a carnivore diet, and I have a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and now my wife is pregnant,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm 54 right now, and it doesn't seem like I'm going to stop having kids. So, um, but it is very interesting. The
Yeah.
diet is a huge thing. But by the time that most of us have been on a standard American diet, the number of diseases and damage to the body is so large that
Mm-hmm.
it's very, very hard to reverse every single one of them. So a lot of people send me research for me to read, and I read a lot of research. And one of the things that I'm good at is at separating good research from bad research. So
Uh-huh.
I worked on several research and development projects, and I seen a lot of people lying in academia because I mean, grants is what they pay, what how they get paid. So if they don't write something that people don't want to see, they're not going to get grants. So the incentives for them is not to create a product that's going to help us. I mean, there's so many people with PhDs right now. What are they going to do? I mean, okay, carnivore diet is it.
Mm-hmm.
They're all out of the job with a lot of student loans. I have a lot of student loans on this useless education system, which a lot of people get upset at me. I have a hard time finding work because anytime somebody looks me up, they find my books, and I'm not totally anti-pharma because I mean they done some things. I had a lung collapse. They put staples on it. I didn't know any better that collapsed lung is caused by the standard American diet. It starts creating bubbles. I found out this recently, less than 6 months ago, and this lung collapse for me when I was it was 1990. So most doctors don't even know that that's caused by an autoimmune response, and I mean if you publish this on a carnivore diet, they might not allow it in a group because a lot of times I talk about alternative protocols and they don't they a lot of times want to be purists about
Mhm.
it. They don't realize that some people like us have conditions that may require some extra help. They require to push the body to something different. Like for example, once I did the carnivore diet and I got better from it, the second thing I did, and I didn't know about ivermectin back then, but I started uh, uh, trying something called Artemisia annua, which was a Nobel Peace Prize in 1971 for the antiparasitic as an antiparasitic
Mhm.
agent. It saved the life of millions of people with malaria. And it's still used today, and it's even put people in remission from diabetes.
Mhm.
Uh, the amount of research on Artemisia annua is absurd. It's so much research. We know that it treats so many diseases and conditions, but no doctor knows about it in the United States. In Europe, they all know about it,
Mhm.
and they promptly recommend it to everybody. Yeah, take Artemisia annua. Artemisia annua is from the family of chamomile. That's why people take chamomile for upset stomachs. Spanish needle is not from the same family, but it has very similar properties. And they grow wild everywhere. Native Americans used to use it. In the United States, you have the most common one is Artemisia ambrosia. It is very helpful for many conditions. So for example, when I did the carnivore diet, I had a horrible gout flare. I never had gout in my life. All of a sudden,
Was it like when you first started?
no, no, it was years after, about 2
Oh.
years after. And it was not really caused by the carnivore diet. I just had a sip of kombucha
Mhm.
and it triggered it. And it was not going away. It didn't matter how strict, how much I fasted. I was walking on needles in my toes. But I took Artemisia annua, and within a day or two, the symptoms disappeared. I took it for like a month, boom, gone. Because it is caused by an infection that goes into joints. Um, and
Uric
that's,
acid.
yeah. Well, no, the uric acid is probably is caused by your body trying to react to that infection, is very
Mhm.
likely. Your body starts producing way too much uric acid, probably because of infection. So that was my second epiphany in this, or third, because fasting was somewhere around there. But the other one was the human microbiome. So someone called me, hey, my daughter has a horrible IBS. It's a little kid, like 12 years old. I started researching and it came out with research. If you're not familiar, FMT is the transplanting of the bacteria of one person's gut to the other person's gut.
Mhm.
And you extract it through the feces.
Mhm.
You take the poop, you liquefy it, you take the bacteria out through the liquid, and the solids you discard. You can put it in capsules. Doctors charge you up to 15,000 or more to do this procedure in a hospital.
Mhm.
Uh, you can do it for like $20. It is sad.
Um. Well, actually, what I've noticed is that with horses, and I
Mhm.
think this goes for a lot of animals, is the ones who have a bad gut microbiome. So, like any kind of rescue horse,
Yeah.
if you put them out in a pasture with healthy horses, they'll actually go eat the healthy horse's feces.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people will be like, "You, that's gross," and they'll put the horse by himself, and then they'll be like, "Why isn't my horse gaining weight?" And what, just over time, if you're really into like holistic medicine or alternative medicine and you work with animals, you kind of learn stuff just from watching how animals work.
Absolutely, and that's the other thing. We're so high in our horse. We think we are above the animal kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
But this was standard medicine in China 2,000 years ago, and in Egypt. It is on
Mm-hmm.
the hieroglyphs is in Egypt, fecal matter transplant. It cures almost anything, but the FDA has a control over it, so you cannot make any claims, and that makes it very hard. And if you want to do it through the standard, the FDA will put the doctors in jail if they treat anybody for anything else than a Clostridium infection. Uh, but and if you do have a Clostridium infection and you have to like prove that you qualify for this procedure, you're looking at over $5,000 for 2 doses.
Hmm. Yes, I know Michaela Peterson had one of those. I was like
Mhm.
wondering how that worked. I really didn't know how it worked.
It so I describe it on my YouTube page, which is engineering your health. So you take healthy poop. You have to find. I even talk about how to select a donor because it's a
Hmm.
very difficult thing. But since I've been in the industry and I work on tissue transplantation, I know how to select donors. I used to do this for doctors. I set up a whole questionnaire for them. There is testing that you can do. So you take the poop, you put it in a specific type of capsule called an enteric capsule. So the enteric capsule bypasses the stomach and goes straight to the gut. And it puts the new microbiome in it. You might have a reaction, like with anything, almost anything you take, because you're going to start killing the things that are making you sick. And that reaction is called die-off. You even get it. That's what they call the keto flu as well.
Hmm.
That a lot of bad bacteria start dying off because they can handle the new environment. But within, I'll say about 2 hours, because I took a nap, I got up and I was running around like somebody put. And I never done drugs, but I imagine heroin or cocaine or something that very stimulant. Maybe taking 5 cups of espresso. Uh, and I just have my whole. I started breathing through the diaphragm. I only been able to do that through meditation, but it was natural because my donor was my 2 year old son, who I kept close to farm animals, and I gave him a carnivore diet from the day he could eat. So his microbiome was amazing. And I helped a lot of people with this, but unfortunately, after a divorce, my wife started feeding him junk food. So he's no longer a good donor. So I'm not I'm not selling or distributing this. Um, but the change was it did got me completely out of the fibromyalgia, 100% off. My IBS, IBD went away. I had a condition that could not be treated by carnivore. It actually was getting worse. Was TMJ. So my jaw, I couldn't open my mouth anymore. It kept on getting locked up. I was having a hard time talking. They wanted to do surgery on me. That was completely gone. And to overcome some of the conditions that I had, I was given something called benzodiazepam. Uh, and this when you come out of it, it causes. I mean, it messes up your brain where you can be suicidal and dangerous,
Hmm.
and you could die. So I 2 years after taking benzodiazepam, I still had some problems, but it all disappeared. It just dissolved. Like in 2 hours, it went away. And even when I had COVID, I did a transplant. My son had COVID for a day. After a week of COVID, I was still feeling crappy, even as a carnivore.
Hmm.
I did this transplant, and within the hour, I was fine.
Hmm.
Completely overcame COVID.
Hmm. I've heard a lot of
So,
people say your gut is your second brain. So if you fix your gut problems, you fix your brain problems.
yeah. So I have come up with alternatives to this. So if you're not familiar, you should look into Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride. She's probably one of the first ones in this spectrum. She created the GAPS diet,
Yes.
gastric. Yeah. So she recommended a probiotic called low histamine probiotic because a lot of us have an infection that creates too much histamine, and that irritates the body. In my case, the bladder. So I did the same thing as I did with a fecal transplant. I took a capsule of this probiotic and I put it inside the enteric capsule, and yeah, it worked great. It helps with the bladder pain and the stress. Uh, and I think I don't know if I mentioned this, but my wife had pretty bad migraine issues when she came from Cuba, I gave her what was left of my son's microbiome, and she hasn't had an issue with. I mean, she has to eat like a lot of bananas or a lot of chocolate to get a better migraine, but it's not like it used to be. For the most part, it's
Mhm.
gone, the migraine. But one thing that Natasha McBride says is that we know for 2,500 years that all diseases be start in the gut, because it's the gut microbiome that manages your health. 80% of your immune system is there. And when you go to the doctor, they tell you, oh, you're sick because you have a genetic condition. And this is a lie. This is a straight down, either a known lie. They know that it's a lie, or they simply want to shut you up and say something, or they're just utterly ignorant. Because
Mhm.
all the studies, ketogenic studies, have shown, if anything, that if you're bipolar or schizophrenic and you're on a keto diet, you have no symptoms.
Mhm.
But if you're not on the keto diet, you are actually bipolar, schizophrenia, ADHD, any other condition, you're going to get it. And
Mhm.
you might get it later, you might have it and it triggers it. So I found NIH research that proves this. We know that the microbiome is a gatekeeper. So if you actually have an infection in your microbiome, it will trigger whatever illness it is that you're having. There is no way around it. It is the diet.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like I don't know this person personally, but I know a person from a person. And he was an older man, and he had Alzheimer's or something of that degenerative brain nature. And my good friend, she's been doing keto for 6 or 7 years. And she gave this old guy's daughter some exogenous ketones because she doesn't use them. She doesn't like them. She was like, here, maybe see if he'll take this and maybe you'll get better. So he actually took the exogenous ketones. He wasn't even doing a ketogenic diet. He just took the ketones. And they saw like 30 to 35% improvement.
Yeah.
Because you know how they have to do like the tests and you get a certain score. So it's like 21 is like normal, like 17 to 18 range is like um all like dementia, or I don't know the actual numbers, but it's something like that, and he scored like 30% better. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. So I could
No.
imagine if he had went ketogenic, how much more that would have improved.
Yeah. So one thing that people refuse to believe and accept is that Alzheimer's is diabetes type 3. There is
Yes.
plenty of studies showing this. Now, because so the only clinical trial I have found that is helped, and it's only done on one person, for chronic bladder pain, was an NIC intravenous. And this, so I created an NIC protocol so people don't have to do an intravenous. It's not as effective because your body can only absorb so much. But if it's intravenous, then it bypasses that absorption limit, that NAC, N-acetylcysteine, which creates the glutathione, which is the anti-inflammatory your body needs. So I started the protocol doing it intravenous at home, which unfortunately, after the fifth or sixth, I have to stop the fifth or sixth infusion because I don't have a good laboratory to alter the pH, and it was very acidic. So it was giving me a lot of pain on the veins and the arms, so I couldn't continue. It was just way too painful. I just don't have a laminar flow hood and all of the things you need to make very, very well sterilized products to put it in the veins. So, but I created a protocol. NAC is used for many, many treatments. So if you overdose, they give you NAC at high doses. And for you to die taking NAC orally, you literally are going to be crushed by the weight of it first, because you will get sick. You can't possibly take so much NAC. But they give it to people for like 3 days, every 2 to 4 hours. And Tylenol overdoses, they
Mm-hmm.
overcome it. They use it for a lot of conditions, but they don't advertise it very much. So you have to like have either a specific condition or know a right doctor for them to do it to you intravenous. Um, so I use this protocol, and I have a small nutraceutical company where I make it for friends and family, and I make it an enteric capsule so you absorb a lot more. And what happens is that I have people that come to me that were not responding to a carnivore diet, or where they just didn't want to do a carnivore diet, and it helps them far better than standard any other standard medicine.
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately, one of the people that called me, and they had the Hashimoto's disease, and she was
Mm-hmm.
a carnivore for almost a year or two, I think, and she still couldn't get rid of the thyroid issue. So she, after the second dose, so the way to do it is, you either do it once a week, where you take about 30 to 40 capsules,
Mm-hmm.
not all at once. You progressively take it. So the first hour, like,
Okay. What? Okay. Hold on. I got confused. What exact are we talking about? The NIC thing.
yes, the
Okay.
NAC protocol, yeah.
And Hashimoto's is hypothyroidism, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
There's a big carnivore influencer. Her name is Jenny Middich, and she's been doing carnivore for, I know, at least over a year. I don't know exactly how long. Maybe 2 years.
Mhm.
And she got diagnosed with hypothyroidism into carnivore. So
Mhm.
maybe this could be something like you could reach out to her about and see if she'd be interested in. Or
Sure.
I could like send this video
Yeah.
to her. Maybe she'll watch it.
You could do that. Um, the thing, so this person was not responding,
Mm-hmm.
and after the second dose, the protocol goes like this: at around 6 7 a.m., you take somewhere between 6 to 10 capsules, depending on your weight. I'm 140 pounds, 140 to 150 pounds, so I take between 8 to 10 capsules. But I do enteric because it bothers your stomach. It's very acidic. It goes straight to the gut, and you don't have stomach issues. But I'm the only person that makes it in enteric capsules. Then every hour you take 3 to 4 capsules. The first week you're not gonna feel well. You're gonna have diarrhea. You're gonna be tired for 24, 48 hours. After the 48-hour mark pass, you're gonna be like, something is odd. I don't feel so bad. Then on the you rest for a whole week or 3 to 4 days. Then you do it again for about 5 months every week. On second week, you are like, holy, something is changing. I'm feeling better. And on, it starts progressing. I'm trying to now develop a new protocol because I'm the only guinea pig that volunteers for all my experiments. So, and I want to keep it that way. Let's just leave it at that because I don't want anyone getting upset at me. I want to make sure that things work before I actually mention it. And I always this full disclosure: I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionist. Don't do what I do. And if you do it, you're on your own.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm testing now, just doing 4 capsules of NAC with about 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C, low acid vitamin C, and that seems to work. That will be daily. You can take a break. You can take it every other day, but it seems to help us almost as well as the high dose. Because I found out that vitamin C helps this work better, and I had a few friends that give it to their parents and they started responding positively for Alzheimer's. Uh, but unfortunately, unless you change the diet at least a bit, if you keep on eating just straight sugar, there is no way around it because the infections are going to keep on eating that.
Well,
So
and then
on
if your fuel source is carbohydrates, and your brain's also running on carbohydrates, so your brain's not running on fat either. I mean, if you're
yeah,
like pretty low carb, your brain can still run on fat. But if you're eating standard American diet where you're eating 300 grams of carbs a day, even
yeah,
with the excess fat that you may be eating, you're still eating enough carbs to where your body's not going to switch over at
yeah.
all.
Well, that is one thing that I'm trying to teach people also.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you don't want to quit carbohydrates because I'm trying to help as many people as I can, not just preach carnivore diet.
Mm-hmm.
And I like every now and then. I like a good piece of bread every now and then. I like fruits every now and then. and it's not harming me, but it's not making me good. It's not
Mhm.
causing a lot of problems, but I know if I have a slice of bread, I know that day I'm not going to be as productive as other days. But I don't buy anything from the store. If I'm going to make bread, it's going to be sourdough bread, homemade, fermented
Yeah.
for 24 hours. If I'm going to have fruits, I'm going to try to have low glycemic index fruits. So what I tried, okay, you don't want to be a carnivore, just don't go to the grocery store and buy everything there, and make your own kefir. Don't buy yogurt from the grocery store. Oh,
Hmm.
kefir is a very good alternative to a microbiome transplant.
Like
If you like
pasteurized
drinks,
kefir or unpasteurized? Because um,
so nothing you buy from the store, you can pasteurize the milk and then add the kefir to grow it at home. So what I
mhm,
do is I buy raw milk, which is very expensive, or I buy. So sorry, let me get back. So I have the kefir grains, or the actual kefir, the Amish style kefir, which is start with raw milk, and I
mhm,
want to expand it. Then I use raw milk. After that, I can use grocery store milk. It's dead, but it has the proteins and the sugars and the fats that the kefir needs. So it's going to create the microbiome. So I'm adding the microbiome to store bought milk. That's the key. And you turn it into kefir. Is it perfect? No. But not everybody can spend $20 a liter on milk. I
on a
personally
liter.
prefer on raw milk.
Ours is $10 a gallon here. It's really not that bad, but
Sometimes
ours
here
it's
it
not
depends if
illegal.
it's well,
Yeah.
in Florida, it's hard. It's hard to find. I
Mhm,
sometimes find, but I gotta drive a lot. So either I prefer goat milk because it's a lot easier on the gut and gastrointestinal. It's closer to human milk.
mhm,
So if you have allergies to milk, and this is something nobody talks about, but there is an amazing study done in Mongolia. So Mongolian people, most of them are lactose intolerant, but they drink more dairy and eat more cheese than any other human being in the planet. And they don't have a problem because the animals live with them. The microbiome is in the air and they don't pasteurize the milk. So if you're going to drink store bought milk, add kefir to it, leave it for 48 hours, it becomes rancid and it smells like sulfur. And then put a little salt or a lot of salt. I put like about 2 grams of salt in it, like
mhm,
just this much on a glass of water. I mix it and I drink it. Sometimes I put it on my freeze dryer. I freeze dry it and I put it in capsules
mhm,
and I take it and it goes straight to my colon. And that has more probiotics than whatever you can buy from Amazon or
mhm.
any other supplement company.
So
Because most of them
I've
are.
made
Mhm,
I've made kefir before, like with the
mhm.
grains, with raw milk. I didn't use pasteurized milk. I used raw milk, and I let it sit for like 36 hours. And my thing was, you know how like kefir is like pretty thick.
Mhm.
Mine didn't
Yeah.
get it didn't thicken at all. So I don't know if I just like did it wrong or and it didn't like smell that bad to me. But maybe it's because I've had kefir a lot, like
Yeah.
because they sell it a lot here, just like locally at farmers markets. It's really easy to find.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I drank it a lot at that point. So maybe it was just because I was used to the smell, but I've never noticed it smell rancid.
It has a sulfur smell, the one that I got from the Amish, and
Hmm.
I, I I so there is a few bacteria that make all other bacteria come and play. There is two bacteria and one yeast. The yeast is called Saccharomyces boulardii, and the two bacteria are two lactobacillus, Rhamnosus and Planetarium. Planetarium and longevity are the same, are 1 into 1. If you use these three organisms and then you add a few other from probiotics, you can create your own kefir. And then if you add it to raw milk, it's going to make the ones that are already in the raw milk grow.
Okay.
That's a trick. But 48 hours, they will start getting thicker and it's going to separate. Almost, it's going to look like yogurt and water. Then you can mix it And what I do is, instead of drinking the whole thing, it's gonna smell a bit like sulfur. What I do is I put a little bit with water and salt. In the Middle East, so this is something that I put on my book. The Middle East has the least amount of cancer of any other population in the world. And the only thing that's different, because they eat more sugar than any other population in the world, is that they fast. They do a lot of fasting, and they eat a lot
Yes.
of goat milk, raw milk, and they eat a lot of kefir with water and salt. It's a thing down there. I know because my first wife, may she rest in peace, was from the Middle East. She was from Iran, and she taught me how to drink these yogurt drinks that they do.
Yes,
Um,
don't they do like, oh, I know what it's called, but they do like 30 days of fasting and they have to eat before 5 a.m. What's it called?
Ramadan,
Hmm. Yeah, Ramadan.
Ramadan. So in the Bible they talk about fasting, but it's too
A lot, yeah.
hard.
I mean, I'm a Christian. I'm not like one of those Christians that like doesn't believe in um I won't get into that, but I'm very picky with what I believe. But anyways, yeah, a lot of the Bible talks about fasting. Jesus fasted in the desert for 40 days, and you got to think about that. That was fairly common to fast for 40 days. But
Well,
the Bible
the
also talks
third.
a lot. What were you gonna
Go
say?
ahead.
Oh, the
I was
Bible
gonna say
also
that.
talks a lot about eating grains, and people are like, "Well, that makes bread okay to eat all day, every day." I'm like, "Well, you also have to look at the context. Were they starving? Were they starving? Did they have anything else to eat?" And then you look at the context. They were in famine, like 95% of the time. And then the times where they weren't in famine, you see them celebrating by slaughtering a cow. You don't see them celebrating by baking bread.
Yeah.
And I'm not
One
saying
of
that bread's evil, but just like in the context of it, people try and make it seem like these foods are optimal. But were they optimal, or were these people just starving?
They were starving. They had to fast a lot. The third meal of the day was invented during World War II,
Mm-hmm.
so they can fatten us up and send us to war. That was the whole purpose of it.
Yes.
Human beings are too fat. We can recruit you. Let's fatten you up. So all the studies right now coming out on fasting have shown that human beings need, at the very least, to fast for 16 to 18 hours every day.
Yes. I agree with
In
that.
human beings are hunter gatherers. You can hunt every day. You can gather every day. And I try to tell people there are no fruits and vegetables, and I'm like, okay, we live here in Florida. There is no winter. Go out there. I got 25 acres. Go out there. See if you can live on fruits and vegetables. Find me some.
No.
You can't.
You're gonna
You
find
gotta eat a raccoon
squirrels
and a
and
squirrel.
rabbits and iguanas and maybe some ball pythons.
Yep. Yep. There is no other way around it. So how is it? And all, if you, all of the studies are coming out now, like the rainforest is 4,500 years old. Guess who showed up around that time? Human beings. And then they started propagating fruits because they found the fruit they liked, they
Mm-hmm.
ate it, they planted it.
Uh-huh.
So it became a, a tropical garden now,
Mm-hmm.
but they did not exist. And that's why the Maya were eating each other, were practicing cannibalism, because all they had was corn, and it was very little corn, and it has
Yes.
no nutritional or very low
So
nutritional value.
I agree. On
Yep.
one of the farms I work at, he's got over 100 acres, and it's a lot of it is pasture, but there's also a lot of like forest there, but it's not dense. And he does have a
Mhm.
couple of apple trees back there, but they're not like they were probably planted a couple hundred years ago. Like they were natural apple trees, and the apples, you maybe get like 10 of them off the tree, and they're this big.
Yep.
And then
Oh,
if
the
you've ever been, I didn't eat one,
Dr.
but
Canberry.
yeah, they were this
uh,
big. Like
eat three. You will have diarrhea nonstop.
I tried watermelon one time. Never again. After carnivore, no. I felt like I had food poisoning. It was awful.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but so at the other farm I work at, we have peach trees over there, and they're only like 10 years old. They're not even that old. And if you've ever
Mhm.
been to an orchard, these trees, the fruit is so big and heavy that the branches literally break off if you don't pick the fruit.
Yeah.
And
I
that's with
have I
every
have fruit
orchard.
trees. Yeah.
Hmm.
I have fruit trees here, and it's the same thing. I planted a couple of them, and there were some before I started. It is not natural. This is something that we
No,
have created.
that's
And if
not
you look at,
fruit.
yeah, no,
It's
if
sugar.
you look at the human, yeah, if you look at the human diet, and we done plenty of studies. In my book I quoted there is there is a study that came out of Israel and Portugal, and they took at least 30 studies on multidisciplinary fields, scientific fields, that show conclusively that human beings were strict carnivores. The
Hmm.
moment, so if you, cavities, they started about 15,000 years ago when we basically found grains. Uh, we started really eating a lot of grains, sometimes about 15 to 5,000 years ago, and that's where human societies and wars started, because when there is not enough food around, we start killing each other. That's just common sense. Deer do it. Why are we're not that different from deer?
Well, and
We
then
like to believe we are.
if you've ever met a vegan, like not like a vegan 30 years ago, but a vegan now, they are some of the most angry people you will ever meet. And
It affects your mental health.
I really do think it has something to do with like just not having cholesterol in your brain. Because you said your first wife was a vegan, and I just want to know like what, because I mean, obviously this had to be a while ago. But
Mhm.
like what
Well, my
was,
first and second wife, both, they were
oh,
wannabe vegans. They were
okay.
wannabe vegans where they mostly ate vegans, but once in a while, that's a nice piece of steak. And Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride and a lot of other people, they they get drunk so they can eat meat and then don't have no regrets about it. That's the reality. And
Hmm.
that's why vegans make everything, it tastes like bacon, and it tastes because their body's craving all these fats.
Yes.
So as
I
I
agree
was,
with
you were mentioning that you were having problems with sleeping, and I discovered recently that butter. So the happiness index is directly proportional to the amount of butter human beings consume. All over the world, they have this clock. So the more butter you eat, the happier you are as a person.
you. Hmm.
My first wife died of cancer. She went through chemotherapy, which spread it everywhere. And I researched a little into this. I don't want to research
Really?
anymore
So
because it makes me very,
the chemo
yeah,
made it worse.
yeah. Chemo makes everything worse. It would
I
might
agree with
kill.
that because I know several people who've been through chemo, and they become completely different people. They even with the cancer, they're still strong people. They go from like people who can live a semi-average life to people who just can't get out
Yeah.
of bed in the morning.
My grandfather was one of the first, or the first survival of chemotherapies back in the, I don't know, many years ago, and he lived a very long life because he fasted. He
Mm-hmm.
only ate one meal a day. But every other person will die after having chemo about 4 years later. So what happened to my ex-wife is that she had breast cancer. They did chemo, they killed that, and it spread to the bones. Because they kill the tissue that have the cancer, and then the cancer creates these little cells that spread everywhere. They're
Mm-hmm.
like encapsulated cells, and they just spread everywhere, and they start growing again because they're gonna find sugar someplace else. And the only way to really kill cancer is to kill you. That's the
Yes.
only really real way.
Or
Uh,
fasting,
if you do
it breaks
chemotherapy,
down your muscle, so and it rebuilds it.
yeah,
That if you've got
yeah,
scar tissue anywhere or cancer tumors, like I've seen, or not personally seen with my own eyes, but I have talked to so many people who fasted like 30, 40, 50 days instead of doing chemo, and they go back to the doctor's office and get an MRI, and there's no tumors.
I
Like
have
on
15.
multiple
I had
occasions, not just one person. I've heard
yeah,
this say.
I had skin cancer 15 times through my since I was like 10. And the doctors told me stay away from the sun. The more I stay away from the sun, the more cancers I had to get removed from my skin. Some of them were starting to enter my bloodstream.
Mhm.
Uh, what happens generally when they do chemotherapy is that they kill it all of the good tissue. They kill your gut bacteria, which is, if you do an FMT, you can also cure a lot of types of cancer. That's been actually shown on studies. Um, so you're killing your immune system, and cancer is an autoimmune disorder. Your immune system is damaged, and that means doctors don't put two and two together. If your immune system is damaged, your gut is damaged. Your bacteria in your gut is damaged, are one and the same. And that's why within 4 years, well, the survival rate for chemotherapy is somewhere between 40 to 70 60%. It doesn't go over 60%. I think it's 48, or I can't remember the number, but it's
Mhm.
not high. It's not 90 to 95%. Then you're killing the one thing that can save you, your gut microbiome, your immune system. You're killing it.
Mhm.
Then what comes back alive from there is the things that will survive the roaches, basically candida and whatever other infections are in there that are going to grow even stronger, and they
Yeah.
eventually are going to kill you.
Yeah,
That's
and
it is
honestly,
very
talking
sad.
about this right now, like, is making me very sad because one of my cousins right now, she just got diagnosed with breast cancer a couple months ago, and she did 2 chemo treatments, came back, and her mass was gone, but she's still continuing treatments, even after they said it was fine for extra precaution. And I'm like, I don't say anything to her because, you can't to those kind of people. And she's like a very sweet person, but if people don't ask, most of the time they don't want to know. You just end up bothering them otherwise. But
It's very sad because my own mother, who was the
yes.
chief surgeon, he was a chief surgeon in Cuba in veterinary medicine, and knows what I talk about in my books and in my YouTube is right. Preferred to have her breast removed from benign glands of cancer where they weren't even malignant, and to
Mm,
have her gallbladder removed rather than to change her diet. It is very, very sad. My own mother, the person that taught me a lot about medicine, because since I was 5, I was on a veterinary clinic till I became a veterinarian technician at the age of 18, right out of high school. I was taught in 3 days. They trained me for 3 days, and I was doing surgery. I was doing everything right there with the doctors, and I have to watch her basically, and she's sick all the time. She comes to visit me, and she gets better miraculously. She gets
hmm
better. She goes back to Miami to city living, and she can't get up. She has no strength. She's always sick, but they just
it's hard watching the people you love actively kill themselves.
yeah,
Like, and it's not just like, people, drug addicts know they're drug addicts. They know that they're doing it to themselves. They know. They understand that much. But when you're addicted to ultra processed food, and then especially people in their 50s and 60s and 40s have just been fed so much by the food pyramid and the U.S. Department of Agriculture, which is, it's all a scam. Working in the farming industry, all of the grains, all of the corn, saying that stuff is good. It's just so that they can make profit. It has nothing to
yeah,
do with your health. It's all for profit, and that's how the world works. That's how everything is. And the more people that would stop trusting their doctors, stop trusting big pharma, and rely on their own body to tell them signals. I mean, if you don't
yeah,
feel good, you automatically think, oh, there's something wrong, I need to check something, make sure, instead of think, oh, I need to take a pill. That's just kind of something that's been programmed into them. And you can preach to them all day about ultra processed foods and sugar and how grains are not optimal and gluten and all this kind of stuff. And I have noticed, unless these people are in the most desperate spot of their lives and they are genuinely not ready to die, maybe they'll try carnivore. But otherwise, they are the most stubborn generation of people you will ever meet.
yeah.
They do not care, and they don't want to be healthy. And it is what it is. I mean, it's just something you have to deal with. But it sucks when those are people you love and people you care about, and you just watch them actively kill themselves. And you're like, what the heck? Like, it's almost kind of selfish to me.
That is what I moved to a farm. That's the biggest reason. I'm among the many reasons. I moved to a farm because I couldn't see. I don't have to see anyone. Occasionally, I see my neighbors and they're all dying. They're
Mm-hmm.
really sick, and they call me doctor, and I keep on saying I'm not doctor. They ask me for my advice, but they don't follow it. They want to
Yes.
listen to me, and what everybody wants is a pill. And pharma hires me for this purpose, and I've been lucky that most of the products that I have not really harmed anyone. They have helped the large majority of them, at least. And I didn't know. I worked on the vaccine industry very early in my career, and I tried to educate people about vaccines during COVID, and it was just persecution. It becomes harder and harder to find work if you're a carnivore, and if you're at work and you eat the way we eat. Like I don't I eat mostly almost raw. My beef I eat it almost raw. I eat my eggs
Mm-hmm.
raw.
I'm the
Then
biggest
they
advocate for a raw diet. It's not something personally that I follow, just with my lifestyle currently, that just wouldn't work for me. But if I could, I would. If I could buy
yeah.
quality beef that wasn't in a grocery store package that was probably covered in chlorine, I would probably do it raw. But with the chlorine and what kind of contamination is on the outside, I don't really trust it. So.
I try still, and it is you're ostracized. You're basically a pariah. People
Mhm.
make fun of you. My best friends were calling me the poop doctor for a long time. They have converted, most of them, but they still tell me it's too hard. It's too hard. They rather to deal with have the disease, be overweight, be sick, and they go to doctors and they finally find a good doctor that
Mhm.
tells them basically what I told them.
And then they listen, don't
For
they?
and then they sell them. So I make them for free a product, and then they go and pay $60 for the same product from a company, and they call me, Einar, what do you think of this product? And I'm like, dude, I made you one even better than that. That one
Mhm.
is only 50% effective. The one I make is a lot better. The probiotic that I made for you is a lot better. You notice a difference? Well, yeah, but the doctor told me. And I'm
Yes,
like,
the doctor, the doctor. Oh my God, screw your doctor.
uh,
What doctor in this generation is in it for helping
yeah.
people now instead of making money?
So
I have
I I had a
not.
I had a
I
sad
have.
conversation
Mhm.
with some of my family that are doctors, and so they came to my baby shower. I gave them some probiotics. They all felt better immediately. They're like, "Oh my God, the food that I make is amazing." They feel better. Their health problems, because we're all the same age. We're in our 50s.
Mhm.
And I asked them point blank cousin, what illness can you guys cure? And they just looked at me and they said, the only thing they taught me in medical school was how to sell drugs. If you have a problem,
Yes.
I just all I know is what drug can shut you up.
Yeah, that's. I mean, every single doctor that I've been to, they didn't even. They asked me my symptoms, and then they're like, "Okay, here's a pill for it." And I'm like, "Well, why am I having these symptoms in the first place?" They're like, "I don't know." What do you mean you don't know? You're a doctor. And like that was just over and over and over and over again. And it's
Yeah.
like, and I'm asking them
Oh,
questions. I'm like, is it because of this? Is it because of that? And then finally they ran blood work, and I had been passing out. So I went to the doctor. They were like, let's take your blood work, whatever. I was passing out a lot. And it was very odd. And people thought I was literally faking it because it was when I was still in school. So I was in middle school at the time. Every day after lunch, 45 minutes after lunch, I would pass out. Not every day, but like if I did pass out, it was that exact time. No other time of day. Never had ever passed out. And I believe it was two things. One, I was eating carbs for lunch. I was eating Kraft mac and cheese, which for some reason I was already hypoglycemic. So my blood sugar did this and then it did this. And I'd already had that happen a lot. Like I knew I had that part. And then I think the classroom that my fifth period after lunch, I think there was mold in that classroom. And like everybody
Yeah.
thought I was crazy
No,
because I was passing
yeah.
out. And I'm like, there's nothing normal about this. And the
I had
doctor
that.
was,
I had that problem with mold. I passed
mhm.
out, and they found it in my nose, and they gave me an antibiotic, and it killed it.
And
But
I
yeah,
was like, I literally asked the doctor, I'm like, is it mold? Do I have hypoglycemia? Is my blood sugar dropping? And they were like, well, we don't want to test that right now. Let's just run some blood work. So,
so they
um,
can make more money.
yeah, they ran my
They
blood work and everything came back normal except I was really low on vitamin D. Um, and then I was anemic, but like that's not going to make you pass out. And then also they said I had
it,
mononucleosis, but it was
it could.
almost not detectable. The antibodies at that point were so low. So this had been like 8 weeks ago. I had mononucleosis, not when I was passing out. And they were like, well, that's why. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Why would I be passing out now if I had it 12 weeks ago? You know?
Well,
Like,
the
and
mac
that
and
that's
cheese also has the mac and cheese also has vegetable oils as highly toxic.
yes. I agree with you.
Most
And
of the food,
that's
yeah, it is depressing
mhm,
to say the least. The state of our health with all the knowledge that we have and all we know the answer to every single thing. And I'm not a genius. I didn't write my books because I'm smarter than anyone. I
mhm.
just went to the NIH, National Institute of Health. Okay, tell me what studies you have on this. And you start reading the conclusions. Now, the difference between me and most people is that I understand bullshit, scientific bullshit better than most people. So it was this amazing study all over the news. We found out that eggs increase your cholesterol. I'm like, were these people having only eggs? No, they were having a standard American diet, and they were eating 2 eggs a day.
Yeah, and they're not even like studies where they take they're not even studies where they take a group of people and monitor them what they're eating every day, make them track their food. None of that. They're this how you eat. Do you eat this? Do you eat this? And filling out a questionnaire, knowing good and well if they say, "Do you eat eggs every day?" Oh yeah, eggs are healthy. I should probably say I eat eggs every day. Not
Well, when I
like
immigrated to Canada in 1990, there was this Mexican doctor that did a street experiment. He was all over the news back when fat was not the bad guy. And he
mhm,
took a family of several families, and he gave them the kids one of the kids from the family had to come to his clinic every day, and he will
mhm.
give them about extra meat. And he monitored them for like 5 years. The kids on the family that he gave them extra meat were taller, they had higher IQs, and they were better mentally stable.
Yes.
And now we know that if you give a child an extra egg a day, his IQ goes up by like 15%, by 15 points.
Uh-huh. So I was talking to my best friend. She's 40, but she's my best friend, whatever. Um and she was talking about how when she was little, this was what 43 years ago? 40 years ago? I don't know. She's in her 40s.
Hmm.
Um they would eat eggs and bacon for breakfast every day. And you know what else she did? She snacked on butter, like she would just take a stick of butter out of the fridge and eat it. And I did that when I was little and I got
Yeah,
yelled at. So it's in our nature as children to eat fats. And then
I
you
do
have
that.
yeah,
I do
you
that
have
still.
I
I'm
do
hungry
too.
at night. Take a stick of butter.
I do now, but like when you get yelled at, like, ew, that's gross, you can't eat butter, like your cholesterol is gonna get. You're like, what? I'm a little kid, I don't care about that stuff. But it's like in our nature, and like any other little kid who hasn't been trained otherwise, they're gonna go to the fridge
Mhm.
And if they've been already hooked on ultra processed food, we know that's what they're going to grab. But otherwise, what are they going to reach for? A steak, a stick of butter. If they eat fruit, they're probably going to reach for fruit because of the dopamine
Oh,
response. But
when I make bread, I eat a
mhm,
stick of butter with a slice of bread. That's what most people don't realize. Oh, Einar eats bread. He's a carnivore. He's a bad carnivore. Yeah, no, I
mhm,
eat a whole stick of butter. So the other thing is I buy the heavy whipping cream
mhm.
and I put a little bit of that kefir in it. And
I've done that before.
I leave it for 48 hours. And then I whip it and I make Amish butter, which is rich in microbiome. All my
Well,
neighbors love it.
if so I've had kefir grains before, but I've also made kefir with just taking kefir and mixing it with milk and letting it ferment for a couple days, and doing that. So what if I took raw milk, mixed it with kefir, and then made more kefir, and then made
Yeah.
more kefir?
So I have two bottles in my fridge because when my kids come, since they're used to eating sugar, I can't really cut them off entirely. So I
Mm-hmm.
buy the store bought kefir and I do
Mm-hmm.
half and half from my kefir and that kefir. So it
Mm-hmm.
drops the sugar, but it has a good bacteria, a lot more bacteria in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I have 2 gallons of milk that are half. So when one goes to zero, I put more milk, and they drink from that one after 48 hours. And I keep on switching. So I make yogurt. I make it. So if you buy kefir from the store, it's $5 a liter.
Yeah.
You know how much
Well,
I pay
seven
for
dollars where I am. It's kind of expensive, but
Jesus. I I make it for $3 a gallon. And I'll once I make it again, I'll send you a message and I'll mail you some freeze dried kefir that you can add it to your milk.
I have packets of those.
Oh, okay. Then you're good.
I don't
Let
know
it.
how many I have left, but yeah. Um, I heard over time that if I use that enough and save enough of the kefir, I can start grains, but it's
Yeah,
supposed
but
to be very hard. You froze. Let's.
Some people opt for protein bars, but you
sorry, we lost the contact there. But
Yeah, yeah. What were you saying?
the
Oh,
kefir that I make has over 50 bacteria. The freeze dry package is that has very very little bacteria in it and
oh
yeast.
yeah. Well, send me some, and I'll mix them all
Yeah.
together
Yeah,
and
no,
make my own.
that's how I made it. I bought
Uh
that
huh.
one. I used the probiotics and I use other probiotics and I mix them all together to where I got like 50 different organisms and then I put it on raw milk and when I drink it and I drink the kefir from the Amish that my friend used to gave me some, it's exactly the same thing.
Yes. Because
Yeah.
you're adding the enzymes that are in raw milk back into it. Because I've made butter doing that before. So I had raw milk and I let it sit in my fridge for a couple days, and then I took the. Can you even hear me? I'm
I can
gonna
hear
just
you.
speak. Okay.
Yeah.
So I took I skimmed the cream and then I whipped it, but I didn't have enough cream for the butter to like congeal so that I could like separate it from the buttermilk. So then I took butter that I had in my fridge and mixed it in. I'm like, well, even though it's pasteurized butter, I feel like it's still going to have the same benefits as raw milk since I'm
Yeah,
mixing them
yeah,
together.
yeah.
And now I've got a giant container of butter because I just put all of my sticks of butter in there. I'm like, why not while I'm already doing this?
Like,
And
can
I've
I
been
ask
using.
you? Can I ask you a question you may or may not know?
Okay.
Were you a C-section child or were you a natural child
I was
birth?
naturally birthed, but
Okay, that's
I
good.
am a marijuana what do you call it uh when you're a baby and your mama had lots of drugs and
Oh
you
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
go
yeah.
through withdrawal when you're a baby.
Yes. Oof, that sucks. I raised a niece that was like that till she was from 9 to 14, but
Uh-huh.
she was really really damaged. Fetal alcohol syndrome.
Yes, and it wasn't even I don't even think my mom drank. I think she just popped pills and smoked her whole
But
pregnancy.
generally, you can see it on the eyes, and you don't seem to have the eyes that normally those children have when they're really damaged. I believe you can rebuild your brain because mine was about 60% damage from the benzodiazepines and all the bad diet. My IQ has shot up to double what it was.
Hmm.
You just need good bacteria, a lot of sunlight, a lot of meat, and fasting, and
Yes.
that reverses a lot of the brain damage.
I agree with that because even though I feel dumber in a sense, and I feel dumber because things that you learn in school, like, is stuff that I probably won't know. Like, I can't tell you what is 131 times 131. I'm going to have
I
to use a
can.
calculator on that. But you ask me something about horses or carnivore or something that I'm interested in, like, let me talk all day,
Yeah.
and I think our societal standards of what is considered smart is just skewed because if you put me out in the wilderness with no resources and you put somebody who works in corporate America job, goes home every day, buys pizza from the pizzeria and drinks beer versus somebody who knows how to make their own food. Even though I don't hunt, I've made my own bow and arrow before. I've made my own arrows. I know how to use one. I know what berries are poisonous, all of them. I know what plants are poisonous, all of them. I know what poison ivy looks like. I can identify some certain trees. Me versus somebody who works in corporate America who's going to last longer. And I feel like that should be what should be considered smart.
Well,
Because at the
I
end of the
work
day,
I work with a lot of those people.
yeah, at the end of the
Masters,
day,
PhDs. I have that education too. I can tell you, it's useless. A
it's
lot of
useless.
times I get hired because they cannot do their job, and I come in and I don't use my education. I use something that they don't teach in school, which is common sense. This is
Exactly.
yeah. I walk in and I look at everybody and I go like, "Well, this is stupid. Who came up with this idiocy? This is why we're wasting money. You should be fired." But then I get in trouble for being honest.
Uh-huh.
So it is it is horrible. I see it every day. I so when people ask me, Einar, what do you do? I get hired to do the job of other people that are full-time employees and they don't know what the hell they're doing and they don't
Mhm.
want to do it. So it
I
is
think
it is what it is.
I kind of think about it this way: like, at the end of the day, if you're a Christian, if this is what you believe, what is our purpose? What are we designed to do? We're designed to worship our Creator. We're designed to procreate, and we're designed to have dominion over the earth. How are you having dominion over the earth if you can't even tell a goose from a duck?
Oh mercy, that's a good one.
Because
They
I know so many people who are like, if I post a picture of one of my geese, they're like, "Is that a duck?" I'm like, "No! Oh my god, it's a goose."
I I don't know what to tell you. I work with those people day in and day out. Uh, they don't even know how their car works. They look at me like I'm crazy and odd, and they always think that I'm crazy and odd because I don't know how to use my education.
You froze again.
Most of what I have learned in life, I learned it on a third world country, being hungry, not having
Yeah,
tools to deal with things, and having to be resourceful,
yeah,
not having anybody to go to.
and that is a sad reality. But like, uh, if you don't learn this stuff young, and we put a 50-year-old man now in on a standard American diet out in the woods, he's gonna die in a
Oh
week.
yeah,
He,
there is a there is an amazing show, and I don't get to watch a lot of TV, but it was a time that I had no choice, and I had nothing to do for a while. But it's called Alone. So they take about 30 people that are actually expert survivalists, and they put them on a survival situation in the middle of no place where there is very little food,
hmm
and it shows you exactly even the best don't make it. They lose in the one that survives the longest and reaches the 3 months or the 6 month mark makes like $1 million. Uh,
Wait, do they take the people out before they die, or they just let them die?
no, they take them before they come every week and they check their health. They have to post videos all the time with satellite tracking. But and these are experts and they can survive in a lot of cases.
Yeah,
Uh,
and like think about it. If you're raised in today's world, you're gonna want to cook your meat first of all. So then you're gonna have to figure out how to make a fire. So then you can cook your meat. But then cooking the meat takes the nutrients out of it. So
mhm,
would I rather just skin a rabbit and eat the rabbit versus skin the rabbit, cut up the rabbit, cook the rabbit,
mhm,
figure out how to make a fire and do all that when I could just eat the rabbit?
yeah.
You know, like
Well, I have met like young people on their 20s. And back when I was in my previous marriage, we had a lot of younger friends, and some of them didn't know how to cook rice. I'm like, yeah. I so we're on a vacation in Costa Rica, and I get a call. Einar, I burned the rice. How do you cook rice? I'm like, I'm in Costa Rica. You're in YouTube all the time. Why can't you Google this?
yeah.
But
You
she
just
had to call me.
you boil it in water till it's cooked.
Well,
Like it's not that hard.
so I'm sitting in there with a bunch of Costa Rican people, and I go to them. They were all women, and I go to them, ladies. You all know how to cook rice? And I'm like, yeah. Like, just unbelievable. Someone is calling me from another country to ask me how to cook rice. And they're like, is it America? I'm like, yeah.
I mean, the parents rely on the school system to teach their kid everything. Now, because I work with little kids, I teach horseback riding lessons, and you know, a lot of the parents who are in horses are a lot better.
Mhm.
Just because they either grew up with horses or, you know, their kids they grew up as kids being interested in farm life. So you know, these tend to be better, but all of these Americans, they're so stressed out. First of all, they work a job. Both the men and women work. So the moms aren't even staying home with their kids. And
Mhm.
then they're eating crap food that makes them feel like crap. So when they get home, they don't have the time or energy to teach their kids more or even like hang out with their children. So their kids are learning everything from the school system. And you know, the
Right.
school system doesn't teach you real life skills. It teaches you how to be a minion for corporate America.
It takes me 3 times longer to get anything done when my kids are with me,
Yeah.
but I take the time. So we
Yes.
go outside and I'm like, what tree is that? What animal is this? My children, my 5-year-old at least, and my 3-year-old know how to crack an egg. They call the chickens chicken nuggets, but you know that's a whole other story. Um, but they know where the food comes from. They don't like it. They're like, "Don't kill the rooster. Don't do this." And I haven't killed it in
No,
front
kill
of
him because
them.
he's mean.
Yeah, but I'm like, you know that fried chicken that you like so much? Yeah, that was Tony the rooster.
Like there are kids now that don't even know that beef comes from cows.
Yeah.
That pork comes from pigs. And
Oh, that chocolate milk comes from chocolate cows.
yeah, or like there are adults who still believe that. I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah,
Are you serious? And
it
then
is.
it's the vegans, they screw up everything because you know, they go into the one farm in the whole US who doesn't treat their cows good. And then PETA posts a video about it. So now everybody believes that
Yeah.
cows are just treated awful in the dairy industry and in the meat industry, when in reality, these cows live probably more luxurious lives than you do because the FDA has so many
Yeah.
standards of how these cows have to live. So before these people can even sell it as a product,
No, I have people that
there's
come and
so many regulations around it.
I have people that come and visit me here, and they see my dogs, and I can't let my dogs loose because I don't have a fence, a full fence in the perimeter, and
Uh huh.
somebody can shoot them at night or they can get lost. So, but
I
they have
can't
a
stand
yeah,
people. My neighbors will let their dogs out, and they're like
yeah,
literal hunting dogs, and
but
they just
they have a long run and a
uh
long
huh.
leash so they can run and and I take them for a walk when it's not 100 degrees.
Yeah.
Uh, but the one thing they don't stop to think about is that my dogs have a better diet than they do. My dogs don't know what kibble is. If you show them kibble, they will not eat it.
My cat's the
My,
same way. I
they're
don't feed him raw
carnivore.
food
My
because he.
dogs are strict carnivores on raw chicken and eggs. That's all they
Yeah.
eat, and they're
Uh,
healthy. They never seen a doctor in their
mhm.
lives.
I would love to feed him raw food, but what he does is he'll take it and drag it under the couch and eat half of it and leave the other half there, and I'm like, I can't deal
Yeah.
with this. So he gets like really nice quality wet food,
Mm,
but I mean he seems to do relatively okay on that.
yeah. So what I do is I buy and I save a lot of money. I got to do a video on my YouTube about this.
Hmm.
I save a lot of money because I go to Restaurant Depot and I buy cases of chicken drums or chicken thigh and leg. And
Yes,
that's
at Food Line, which is our local grocery store, you can get bone and skin on leg quarters for 69 cents a pound,
yep,
frozen.
yep. And the eggs are
Not bad.
50 cents an egg. So I give them that and it for like a dollar 50 a day. They eat once a day. They are have full of energy, beautiful coats, and that's it. There is no doctor bills, no veterinarian bills.
No. Well, our cat, he's got an autoimmune condition, which is hilarious because he's just like his mama. But he's got what we call penis in his eyes, and
Hmm.
I know I hate that name. It's basically AIDS for cats. But our
Mm.
close by vet, which is literally 5 minutes from our house, they were like we probably spent almost $1,000 in there because his eyes were like completely fogged over, had abscesses all over them, and they just gave us eye drops every single time. They didn't tell us what it was. They just said, "Oh, his eyes are not going to rupture. Here's eye drops. This will make it better." And it never made it better. So eventually, we just went to the vet that's a little over an hour away, but they're the people who do our horses. And they don't charge your arm and a leg, but they went in, they diagnosed it, they researched on it, they told us what it was, they told us it was autoimmune, they told us, if we wanted to try something other than steroids that we could research, and they still gave us the steroids. And I have been giving him the steroids, but
You could try. Is it AIDS, HIV?
yeah, basically. It's
Oh,
it's also auto. They said he had. I don't know if they're two different things or if it's the same thing,
okay.
but he's also got like autoimmune stuff. So I don't know if that
You
is the
can
AIDS or if that is
you
his.
could try Artemisia annua in drops and see how they do. Because
Okay.
one of the things about ivermectin and Artemisia annua is that even if you're giving him a medication, they tend to make the medications work even better. I don't know
Yeah.
why, uh, but it absorbs a lot better the medication. It functions. It cuts down on the cost of medication.
Yeah. Well, and then I mean, he just gets 2 drops a day in each eye. It's not awful. It's just I don't even know what it is. It's a steroid, but apparently autoimmune is your body attacking itself. So that cleared up his eyes, and now with diet is just trying to keep him,
Yeah.
in remission because his eyes are never
The,
going to be 100% clear because it was so bad. But
the
yeah,
gut bacteria or the bacteria that's in his eyes are attacking his eyes. That's
yeah,
basically what an autoimmune condition means. That and Natasha McBride explains it better than anyone I ever seen. It's basically the bacteria in your body does not recognize the tissue and it
mm-hmm,
attacks it.
yeah.
So there is something in there that's making it unrecognizable, and it's hard to know. But I don't know if you can give him some kefir that may help a little with the gut
Oh, I've
bacteria.
I've had people tell me to just take drops of kefir and put them in his eyes, and I guess
Possible.
once I run out of eye drops, I'll probably start doing that instead to see if that helps at all. But I don't know if mixing them together would be a good idea. I'm always scared about stuff like that because I'm like, I don't know.
Well, the steroids is just going to reduce the inflammation, but unfortunately, it's going to make long term the condition worse because it makes the tissue not as thick. It debilitates the tissue of itself.
Okay, so
And
maybe I'll get some
my
kefir and
first my first wife had a condition, eczema,
yes,
and
I have
it damaged her skin. It makes it thinner. It penetrates your body, so it starts damaging the bone structure as well.
the topical steroids.
Yeah, even topical steroids will they will go your body the skin of your body is permeable, so a lot of things go right through it.
Yeah, it's like seven over 70% gets absorbed.
Yeah,
I had eczema too really bad. It was like up my arm on my hand. It's completely
yeah,
cleared off. I
it
actually had
is.
it the worst on my finger. My whole finger was like scaly.
Yeah, it is an autoimmune disorder, so it's your gut bacteria attacking different areas of the body.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll try and take him off the steroids and use kefir. Maybe just feed it to him at first, see if that does anything. But
Hmm.
he gets raw milk a bit. If we have it, he gets
Oh, okay.
some.
That's good. That's good because the human microbiome is transferred through two routes. First, when a child goes through the vaginal canal,
Hmm.
that's where it gets the bacteria from the mother because the vagina is connected to the colon. It's a
Yeah,
small connection, but it is connected, and the bacteria goes back and forward. Then the second way that a human being or any animal gets the gut bacteria is once they give breast milk through the mother.
yeah. And so many women now are having kids through C-section, not even because they have to, but because they want to. And then on top of that, they don't want to breastfeed. They want to feed formula. And I'm like,
And
what's wrong? A, breastfeeding is completely free. B, you don't have to cut your body open to give birth naturally. Like I guess it's just because I am the way I am. Like I just don't
no,
understand a
no,
lot of this stuff.
I worked on that industry. This is how it goes.
Hmm.
When a doctor does a C-section, he can take the placenta and sell it to reconstruct the surface of the eye for $1,000 to $1,500 per placenta. So that's why they promote it. If the placenta goes through the vaginal canal, they cannot use it. So they make money out of it.
Okay, so I feel like you probably know the benefits of this. I know of people who want to freeze dry their placentas, like freeze
Uh,
them and then send them off to get freeze dried and take them as supplements.
I,
Now
I
I
have a
know.
freeze dryer. I can do it. I haven't started that business yet, but
Mhm.
so I used to. So I started a company for this group of people that were very nasty, but they use the human placenta to reconstruct the surface of the eye because it's the same tissue. It's a amniotic
Yes.
tissue. So they buy from the doctors for 1,000, 1,500, maybe more, up to 3,000, and they sell a little piece like this for close to $1,000 or somewhere around there for you to have surgery.
That's crazy.
But human beings, like any animal, used to eat their placenta.
Yeah, that's
Because
what I was about to say. Like a lot of animals eat their placentas, and if they don't, they say they do it for predatory reasons, so that predators don't attack them and smell it. But I think it's just because if you eat it, it heals your body a lot quicker.
it is highly nutritious, and once you have a baby, you lose a lot of blood and
Mm-hmm.
fluids. You're dehydrated, so there is a lot of nutrition in it. But
I,
it's
I
probably
I
a
don't
few
think
reasons.
I would ever be the person to just like nom on it, but I'd like freeze dry it or something. Like
Me
I just
neither.
I just couldn't see myself doing that. But maybe you like
Mhm.
cook it or something.
Yeah, I thought of doing that as a business, but I have too many businesses in mind. I just don't have the time right now. But we have a little farm stand that we started.
Oh,
Uh, there is a lot of traffic in our area, so we were selling, but my wife is now too pregnant to do anything, help me do anything. But we were selling bread, butter. We make French cheese,
hmm,
cream cheese, which tastes delicious. It is hard to make this stuff because then I want to eat it. Uh,
yeah.
so I'm the worst at it. And we make pineapple kombucha, which is also very good for the microbiome. You just use the natural bacteria from the skin of the pineapple. They call it tepache in Mexico, and we do it very low in sugar, so it has a bit of alcohol in it. But I find that when I drink it, my condition improves. I don't have to go to the bathroom as much because it's a lot of good. And they find out that the chronic bladder pain, which when I started, I had to go to the bathroom 60 times a day. I'm not exaggerating. At night, day and night. So it was every 15 minutes. Most people commit suicide or they go crazy. And I have one of the worst of this condition. Most people every 2 hours. So now I'm much better. I can see here. We've been talking for an hour and a half. I didn't have to go to the bathroom. But when I drink that kombucha, although it makes me very hungry and makes me crave sugar, it comes down my bladder a lot because of the microbiome on that fermented product.
Hmm.
But we sell a lot of it. People love it. They think the bread and the Amish what do you call it, Amish the Amish butter is amazing. They love it, but it is hard. It is hard to make these products at home and to make it in large quantity to really make a profit.
Especially because sourdough takes forever to make, or any type of
Yeah,
bread.
anything it's hard. It is a lot of work. I gotta get up at 5 a.m. so I can have the farm stand ready at 8. Yeah.
I know. Is it an honor system farm stand?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And
I've been thinking of starting one just for like eggs,
yeah.
but all of my ducks went broody at the same time, so I'm not getting any
Mm.
eggs currently.
Yeah, we got like 40 chickens now, and we have a lot of geese because this is one thing that I don't understand. People used to eat a lot of geese, and now they don't. Only Asian people and European people, but in America, people don't want to eat geese. And in
Hmm.
3 months, I can have the Ebden geese. I can have 30 to 35 pounds of meat in 3 months.
My goose is like over 3 months old, and she's not even 5 pounds.
What?
But she's not
What?
an Ebden geese.
Oh.
She's a Chinese goose, so they're
Oh
lighter
no,
than
no,
chickens.
yeah. They do 10 to 15 pounds, but it's still better than a chicken in 3 months. Man, a
And
chicken does
they
not.
probably taste very similar to duck.
Yeah, yeah, a lot like duck. And the Chinese geese sell better for the market because they are
Hmm.
not as fatty. But the Ebden geese has a lot more fat. But I mean, 35 pounds to 30 pounds in 3 months. I was shocked when I saw it. And carnivores don't talk about it. And it's like $2. I can probably sell it for $2.50 a pound, versus beef that's about $5 a pound of ground beef at least.
Hmm. Well, I mean, I wouldn't personally eat my geese because mine act like dogs. They follow me around and they want cuddles. But
Yeah.
that's probably just because I raised them from itty bitty babies.
Uh,
Um, but no, I had a bunch of meat ducks, and I was gonna go through the trouble of processing them. But I'm like, am I even going to eat this? No, probably not. So I just gave them away to somebody else who
mm.
said they weren't going to do it, but they had bought like 35 roosters and put them in the back of their truck, and then bought a bunch of meat ducks. And I'm like, are you going to eat these things? He's like, no, it's for my daughter. I'm like, and then he was also like always on our local like farming backyard chicken Facebook group asking if anybody has any free roosters. I'm like, you're definitely eating them. Why don't you just say that you're eating them? People like it just makes you look more suspicious when you show up with 35 roosters in
Yeah.
the back of your truck. But I'm like, no, I'm not eating them. Are you
No,
sure?
we found out it. We found the market here in Jacksonville. I mean, near me for the roosters that we're selling at $15 a rooster.
That's
Uh,
actually pretty good.
Black Magic.
Hmm.
They sacrifice it and do offerings to God. So I'm part African. Most people don't know because they don't. I don't look it, but I'm part African. So I grew up in an African culture. So we put in a Hispanic thing, Hispanic Facebook, and they come. Yeah, $15 a rooster. We're good, and they took him. And then all of a sudden, we looked at the clothing they're wearing, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is a religious thing."
Are you selling live roosters or like processed
live
roosters?
live roosters. They bought live for $15 a rooster.
Hey, I would do that. I can't mentally deal with that many roosters.
Yeah, and they went to me. If you have more, let me know. I'm like, okay.
But all of my chickens are bantams now, so I don't have any like that are really worth eating. They're like this big.
Mm,
Yeah, when I first got into chickens a couple years ago, I got pet chickens, and then I went and got like egg laying chickens. But then I don't eat the eggs anyways. So like I'm like, what even is the point of keeping these chickens? So now I just keep pet chickens, pet geese, pet ducks.
no, we don't keep pets. We everybody here works.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Neither.
all my chickens are like specialty breeds. So I've got like Kikirikis and Sea Brights, and I got a lot of Silkies. I got a lot of Satins. I got some Frizzles. So I sell their eggs as hatching eggs, and I make a decent amount of money doing that. But
Okay.
right now it's out of season, so.
Mm. No,
And
we're
my
trying.
geese are not big enough to lay eggs yet. But I have an Ebden Pilgrim goose, and then another Pilgrim goose that are fully grown. And this year I only got maybe two eggs from her total, maybe one or two, none, no eggs.
Yeah.
And then I tried to hatch them, and they didn't even hatch. So.
Mm. No, we got Isa Browns. We got about 15 Isa Browns, and we're trying to get into blue egg breeds.
So like Well Summers, Americanas,
Yes.
leg bars.
Yeah.
I love blue layers. I have a silky chicken. It's some kind of silky mix. I know it's not a full silky, but it's either a silky Easter egger, a fleur d'eau, or I don't know how you say that. Or there's another breed too. They all lay pink eggs, and I've got a little silky chicken that's laying pink eggs. But at first I thought it was one of my white silkies. I'm like, why is this chicken laying pink eggs? But I have no idea which chicken it is. But I'm getting pink eggs and then white eggs and then cream eggs for the most part right now. Maybe I still have some that are pretty young. They should start laying within the next month or two. So we'll see. I'm not really in it for eating eggs. I sell the eggs. So
Okay.
I feel like, is there anything else we need to talk about? Did we talk about everything?
I can't think of anything right now. I think we cover a lot of subjects.
Yeah, and like we didn't do bad on time either.
Yeah.
Okay, well, honestly, I would love to do this again. Maybe if we had like different subjects to bring up. I would like to talk about Big Pharma and corporate America, but I feel like that should be its own thing, not combined with other stuff. So I'm gonna end the
And
recording.
it is a difficult subject because people are not in there to do evil. There isn't a conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
So, and conspiracies what sells, but most of them are what I call herd mentality.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna end the recording. So bye, guys.
Bye. Take care. Thank you.